Welcome to another edition of the Jarrod Thomas Show podcast. My boy Jacob's over there pressing all the buttons. Now, I'm telling you, we're going to get back to getting into some guests. I mean, we're going to do that. I like this as a nice little reprieve, though, because this reprieve is Jacob takes the time, put on a little piece of paper. He just has a topic. I haven't seen the topic. I don't know what the topic is. I have no idea what it is. I see it and you hear it for the very first time, and then mostly me, I respond to it. Jacob gets drug into it whether he wants to or not. Sometimes I got to have a little clarification, or maybe, as I'm riffing, as the kids say, I might drag him in kicking and screaming. So with that in mind, today's topic so far, we've covered AI. Yep. That was the very first one. You're a movie guy. Is Netflix and other streaming services destroying movies? That was the other one. What was the third one?
Education.
Education. Yes. Education. That was a good one. All right. So let's screw around and tear it. That'd be my luck. Oh, look at that. Jacob, you've been, I mean, I got to tell you, more than just a pretty face over there.
More than just a pretty face.
Yeah. According to whitehouse.gov, see, just when you think the guy's screwing around on Pokemon sites all the time and how to fly drones and that kind of thing, he bombs out with, according to whitehouse.gov, due to the government shutdown, the state of North Dakota has had a decline of $41 million each week in gross state product impact. Wow. What does this mean for everyday people, and what and how and who will these shutdowns affect the most? I'll get to there's a bonus. There's bonus. Bonus. We'll get to that in a little bit. So the shutdown is an interesting topic in this way. Generally speaking, the government is running. So the things that working stiffs like you and I need, the government is keeping up its end of the bargain. I already know, so save your comments and concerns, that this is local government. But I'm going to make the point that police, fire, all those kind of services have not stopped. Essential personnel continues to go to work. The president would tell you that what is happening is all part of the plan to this extent. If we can run the government and not need all these other people, then what do we need all these other people for? Perhaps we just start letting people go and then go find other jobs, and we'll be fine. But at $41 million each week, eventually, there will be some impact to the state of North Dakota. Now, as you likely know, we're very much an ag state. So the impact there gets to be in the dealings with other countries. Although, back to the president, he's been negotiating deals, he would tell you, on his own, with foreign countries for some of our product. Tariffs are up. Some of this other stuff is up. It's very expensive to be an American currently. But I think we started to get there this week when, was it? It might be, this will get close. I'm not sure if it's 100% right. 10% of the air traffic controllers in the top 40 markets of the country were laid off. Meaning that you could start to see some delays. When I say we're getting closer, the way to get the government back at full capacity is by affecting the American people, because eventually the American people are going to throw their hands in the air and say, I had to stay in Atlanta, by way of example, for 3 extra days because I couldn't get a flight. And the reason I couldn't get a flight is because the government is shut down and air traffic controllers weren't available so that my flights would work as they should. Now you're going to start to irritate the American people, because we are a spoiled, entitled bunch. And we expect that if we're going to leave at a certain time and arrive at a certain time, we expect to be within a few minutes of each. And that, for the first time this week, you started to see flights being changed and flights being altered and flights being so on. So what it means for everyday people is frankly not much. Everyday people are just going about their lives. Those folks that went to work for the government are the ones that are ultimately being affected. The question that I've always been curious about is, if you were working for the government, how long could you live like this? Now, I believe it's a law that if the government shuts down, that when you go back to work, There will be back pay given to you.
Makes sense.
But how long could you go without a paycheck?
Not long. I have a little bit saved up because I'm somewhat smart, but I could probably miss one paycheck and be okay. 2 checks, maybe.
Right. And then your life changes.
Yes.
So 7 out of 10 people live outside of their means.
Yep.
Meaning they spend more than they make.
Yeah.
And they use credit and whatever to make to live their life. So most people, if you line 10 of them against the wall, you can look at 7 of them and know that they are living outside their means. In fact, if you are thinking about this as you are driving, or if you're watching this, hey there, then you can likely think of 10 people, and you likely know the 3 people in your life who are likely the ones that are living inside of their means.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I've always been perplexed by. This is a historic shutdown, and there's still people that I know that are just waiting for them to turn the lights back on.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many people can do that.
I don't know too much about it, but I know I need my paycheck, and I don't know how they're doing it. But.
Well, and most people do. I mean, it's not – we don't live our lives anymore, and I'm not here to judge how people live their lives, but they don't live their lives. You know, Dave Ramsey, who airs on KNOX most nights from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., he tells you should have $1,000 saved for an emergency. I would say, I don't know what $1,000 gets you, but
Yeah.
all right, so have $1,000 saved for an emergency, and then he talks about baby steps and ways to get your debt under control, and then how to save money, and then one day invest that and turn it into a gazillion dollars, and then live the rich life. But I think what happens is we are in the wealthiest country of all time. There's been nothing that's even been close. And with the availability of credit and with just the wealth that we have in our country, it is staggering how much money gets spent on things we don't need. And again, I don't get to tell you what you need and don't need. You might need that Lamborghini. I don't know.
You might.
But if you were to just pay for your needs and put the rest in the bank or put the rest in an investment portfolio or put the rest someplace else,
Yeah.
you'd likely achieve a fair amount of wealth in your lifetime in this country. But we don't do it that way.
No.
And so when stuff like this happens, you are supposed to have some sympathy, and you should have some empathy. You should. But I think it also makes the point that government can run at a much skinnier level than what it is.
Yeah.
We just don't want to make those tough choices or tough decisions because we like what we like. We want our neighbors to have jobs. We want our neighbors to flourish. We want our neighbors to go out and kill it just like we are. But at the end of the day, it's a job, Jacob. And if one opportunity ends, don't you have to go find another one?
I mean, that's how it works. That's how I got here.
And we're so blessed that you are. Wow, UND, NDSU. Thoughts? This is the bonus question.
Yeah.
Thoughts, predictions, and do we need a new traveling trophy? We do weird things, don't we?
Yeah.
North Dakota is also a state that is very fond of their ceramic animals, which is bizarre. You go to different cities in North Dakota and you'll see large fish. You'll see a big bear in Hatton.
I see a big milking cow.
Yeah, you see it on a hill
Yep.
as you get closer out west there.
Yep. Jamestown, Buffalo.
Jamestown, Buffalo. We are big fans of the ceramic animals.
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. There's a highway as you get closer to Bismarck.
That's just,
The Enchanted Highway.
yeah, it's every 20 miles. There's another monument or something.
There's a thing. So we like our trophies. We like our trinkets. We like our things.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
We had the nickel.
the thing with that though is it's a little bit like, and again, I guess I don't take calls on this podcast, so I can say this. It's a little bit like when we changed the Fighting Sioux nickname, or more specifically and perhaps accurately, the NC2A required if we wanted to play for national championships
Yeah.
to change our nickname. That's been 13 years, by the way.
Has it?
Been changed to Fighting Hawks, so the big pigeon.
Yep.
And so you can't go to a game without "and the home of the," which I think is one of the more disrespectful things we do.
Yep.
But the point is that people don't forget.
No.
They don't like to be bullied around here, and they don't like it. So the other thing is, though, the Fighting Hawks is forever going to be compared to the Fighting Sioux.
Yep.
So one nickname doesn't necessarily have the opportunity to take off. Similarly, but in a little bit different category, sits a traveling trophy between UND and NDSU.
Correct.
So anything that gets done is going to get compared to the nickel.
Yeah.
Now, should they play? I mean, I think NDSU plays one of the South Dakota schools for a mile marker.
That's SDSU.
Yeah.
The Jackrabbits.
Right. So they play. They have that going. So mile marker's probably out. I believe it's Oklahoma and Texas that battle for the Red River something or other.
Yeah. They got like a paddle or something. There's like in college football, it seems like every 2 football teams have a traveling trophy. I know like Michigan State has like 3 of them for sure between other schools.
Yeah. The rivalry feels a little different now.
Yeah.
And I know you're a former University of North Dakota football player.
I am.
So I don't mean this to be disrespectful in any way, but NDSU, I'm going to put it this way, created some distance between them and the University of North Dakota.
I would say a lot of distance.
And has been absolutely dominant at the FCS level.
Yes.
And for a period of years, just didn't either want to or didn't feel like they had to, or conferencing wouldn't allow them to play each other. So there's a period of years where nothing happened in this rivalry.
Yep.
So now it feels a little different.
Yeah.
It's a little different because of NDSU's absolute dominance at this level. That doesn't mean that a couple of years ago, UND didn't just absolutely take them to the woodshed at the Alair Center.
Yep.
Because that's what happened.
Yep.
NDSU, number 1 team in the country again this year. UND was number 8 the last time I looked. They may have slipped a few after that loss to South Dakota.
Yeah.
But should be a pretty good game tomorrow.
Yeah.
So to answer the trinket question, if we have some assurance that they're going to play for the next, as much assurance as you can give, 10, 20, 30, 50, 80 years, okay, let's come up with something. The the Highway 2 trophy or the I-94 trophy.
Yeah.
I don't.
You could do like the Buffalo Wild Wings logo. It's like Hawks
on one side, and then do a buffalo on the other side.
Yeah.
And then whoever wins it, that's what faces out.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think most people are going to want the nickel back.
Yeah.
I thought that had been retired and is in a museum someplace out west, is my recollection.
Yeah. I wasn't in our, possession when I was there, so.
Were you on the team when they won it?
No.
When?
That was the year after I was done playing that they won it. That they beat NDSU. I was at the game. I was watching. But
yeah, we'll be there tomorrow. I will tell you this. I think that Coach Schmidt has done a really nice job so far. I think he has showed us that UND is in fact moved into a different era.
Yeah.
That the defense or the offense rather more resembles the offenses that you see around the country.
Yep.
I think he's allowed Coach Frickty to kind of loosen the reins a little bit. He's got a quarterback that can sling it a little.
Yep.
That's fun and nice to see. Coach Schmidt is a defensive guy, so we see some upgrades on the defensive side of the football because that's where he lives and that's what he knows. And so we see some different schemes and we see some different things. That too is very refreshing. The problem with a first-year coach is always, I think, always, and I do mean always in recruiting, and how many horses can you get in here before your first year if, in fact, the cupboard isn't full to begin with. And I would say the cupboard was half full.
Yeah.
I think Coach Schmidt's retention rate was pretty good. I think he kept the athletes he wanted to keep.
Yep.
I think the others moved on to different schools or moved on in life or whatever they did. So I think that what's happening this year is probably just a little bit of an overachievement for this squad. I think, and I said this in the hallway to others, their number ones match up with anybody really at the FCS level in the country. I believe that. I mean, the football that I've watched and I would tell you that UND has the speed and the size and all, with their first group.
Yep.
What happens when a new guy takes over, it's always the depth piece, right?
Yeah.
Because what the thing that's cool to say now is next man up, all pro so-and-so went down, next man up.
Yep.
To imply that you have another all pro just hanging around, all conference guy or all American guy hanging around on the sidelines just waiting for his chance.
It's usually not how that goes. I mean, I was a backup to a great player, Matt Waletzko. He's now an NFL player. If he would have gone down, there
would have been a drop a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't see the field, and I went on the field 3 times in my career when he was taking a water break on special teams, when he rightfully deserved after driving down the whole year. But it's like, it's a big gap. There's a reason he was number 1. There's a really good reason I was behind him.
Right. And so you try to get your number 2s coached up. You know, you get less reps in practice.
Yep.
I mean, I'm talking to a guy that lived it. You get less of all of it. And then all of a sudden you're thrust into an interstate rivalry and you got to play because we'll just use Mr. Waletzko as an example. He goes down and
I know I'd be nervous.
And you helmet on, let's go. And then you better know what
you're doing.
X right, double Z 9 cross 14. And you were thrown into it with a bunch of guys that have been into it.
Yeah.
And your expectation for you is that you're going to have to keep it at that level or close to it.
Yeah.
While you figure out what's going on with Mr. Waletzko.
Yeah. Luckily, I was never thrown into that position, so I can say that I would have done fine. But
well, I mean, you'd like to think, right?
I'd like to think
you didn't go to UND to stand there either.
No.
Right? And so I think that's the big difference between these two teams. UND stays healthy tomorrow. UND, probably will have a couple of wrinkles and probably a few things up their sleeve. But in my heart of hearts, I think that likely the first half will be pretty good football. Will be a little bit back and forth. I will say this about the quarterback, too. Again, the Minnesota Vikings should hire me to coach talent, but they haven't yet.
Yeah, it's really a shame.
Thank you, Jacob. That's very nice. The quarterback from week 1 is the same quarterback we're seeing in week 9, 10, wherever we are in the season.
10 or 11.
Yeah, we're later in the season.
Yeah.
That would be of concern to me.
Yeah.
We're not seeing a ton of development. And I think what we saw in the beginning was last year's quarterback was he's just a different quarterback.
Yep.
That's not to say that the new quarterback is that much different.
Yeah.
It's just he's a completely different style and he plays differently.
Yep.
I would like to see last week against South Dakota. He did have 2 chances in the second half to go out and win that game. The score was 26-21 most of the fourth quarter. He got a touchdown quick in the fourth.
Yep.
He had 2 opportunities to win it.
Yep.
And we didn't get it done. I don't lay all that at the feet of the quarterback. There's some of that play calling, there's some of that's coaching, some of that's running game, some of that.
Yeah.
But it is just to say, I mean, it felt a little bit like what we've been used to over the last 10 years watching last week.
Yeah.
That's a game you have to win. That's a game you need to win.
Yeah,
we don't need another 7-4 season and cross our fingers for a playoff game.
Yeah.
That's not – I mean, we're trying to get past that. Now, again, back to what I said earlier. I want to make sure I'm consistent. We're in year 1 of a new regime. So if you take all the other stuff away, year 1 is pretty sexy. It's pretty good. We like this.
Yep.
So the trajectory's up. But you spoil us a little bit when you get out to a fast start. You should have won week 1.
Yep.
Right? We should have won, was it week 3?
Yep.
Right? So this team should have been undefeated going into last week. And we had a little clock issue.
Yeah.
The first week, right?
Yep.
Then we have week 3. We stubbed our toe a little bit. Should have beat Montana or Montana State, whoever it was.
As the Grizz.
Yeah. Should have won that game.
Yeah.
There again.
That game was...
Well, and then South Dakota.
Yeah.
Right? So you would argue that you walk to the altar 3 times, you got to win one of those games.
Yep.
Preferably 2 of those games. But you had a chance to be an FBS school in week 1 in Kansas State.
Yep.
Right? You lose to the Grizz in a game you should have won.
Yeah.
Then you turn around and you lose to South Dakota in a game you absolutely have to have.
Yeah.
So and again, new regime, but a lot of the tenets of the old one are still there.
Yeah.
And as a fan, that bothers me. So that's a big buildup to what I think we're going to see tomorrow. I think we'll see a good half of football. And I hope
it'll be fast and aggressive, that's for sure.
I hope it's the first half.
Yeah.
Because if NDSU jumps out to a 28-0 lead, and then we're going to play like gangbusters in the second half and it finishes 28-14.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I've been as close as you can to seeing it playing against that NDSU, and if they get a lead on you,
it's hard.
There ain't many schools
it's hard
probably in the country besides the big guys that could come back.
NDSU they just have horses and they just
Clydesdales.
they just replenish.
Yeah.
And I don't want to pump their tire too much. I mean, they're still a college football team, and there's kink in that armor. I mean, there's
we beat them once.
So I again, just where the two programs are at. NDSU won a title last year. They're number one in the country again this year.
Yep.
They win the games that we talked about, UND losing. And if you were to ask me what the big difference is between the two programs, NDSU beats Kansas State, NDSU beats Montana, and South Dakota doesn't even get, and if I believe that just happened.
Yeah.
South Dakota doesn't even get, they don't even belong on the same field.
No.
And that to me is the big difference, and that is I don't know how you coach that or the character of that or what. I will, and this is going to sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, so what the hell, I'll just talk out of both sides of my mouth. I will be at the game. I will be cheering UND hard. I hope they win. I hope it comes down to the last 3 minutes. I hope all those things.
Yep.
And I hope that those 3 games that I described, tomorrow they figure it out, and they turn it all around, and they win 31-28. And the town is just bonkers on Saturday night. Right? That's what I hope. But what I think is going to happen, it'll be good, tight first half.
Yeah.
And here's where I think the difference comes in. NDSU coaches make adjustments. UND coaches make adjustments. I just think NDSU is just a little bit better at it. And they have just right now,
Yep.
they have a little bit better horses.
Yeah.
So I think they end up winning by a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good game. I think I like I say, I hope the first half, like you say, everybody will come out like their hair is on freaking fire. I mean, it's going to look like, holy cow. I mean,
that first kickoff's going to be...
It's going to be electric.
Yep.
And don't forget, NDSU remembers, or at least some of them do, they lost the last time they were up here.
Yep.
They're not down for that.
Really big advantage playing at home. When I was there, we played SDSU. We kicked their butts in the Missouri Valley Championship. So...
Well, I mean, the fans will show up. There'll be 15, 18, 19, 20,000 people. It'll be absolutely sold out. It'll be packed to the gills. Most of them will have been tailgating for 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. Yeah. I mean, it'll be all the things. Yep. The fans will show up. The weather's going to suck outside, but that's not going to matter for inside. I just think at this point in time, and I don't think this will always be the case by any stretch, but if you're asking my honest opinion, and I know you are, I would just say that I think NDSU gets them by a couple of touchdowns, but I don't think it's 28-0 at half and then it ends 28-14. No. I don't think it's like that. I think it's
some good ball.
Yep, I think it's tight. I think it comes down to a couple of plays. I hope it's no gadget BS like some weird punt thing. Just let the athletes play. Let's see who's better. But I just think at this point in time, and again, some of this can sound negative. I don't mean it to be. I just think Coach Schmidt came out in his first year and showed us in week 1. Wow, you can, and then we didn't get it done.
Yep.
Then we play a little bit lesser opponent week 2. Okay, so we get through that, and then Montana, and again in Montana, a game you should win.
It came down to 2 plays, really.
Yep. Right, and so. And then last week just shouldn't have been. I mean, South Dakota played their best football game of the year. You got to give a little credit where credit's due. You got to do all that. However, UND, for a team that wants to challenge for a Missouri Conference Championship, I mean, this week, if they win last week, right, 2 losses, you're playing NDSU, you hand them their first loss.
Yep.
Now only a game separates you.
Yep.
Instead, you can beat them and still 2 games separates you.
Yep.
And then likely you got to beat them again should you make the playoffs. So it's, I don't know. We'll see. But again, I just, and then UND has 4 losses should they lose. And now we're back to not only playoffs.
Will we make it?
But getting a home playoff game. And that conversation is so, and it's politics. And you leave it up to somebody else to decide. And I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it. For all the things you would think they could figure that out better, but we'll see. So, like I say, big weekend in the Forks. The UND hockey team heads down to Omaha to play a surprisingly good Nebraska-Omaha team. So that'll be fun. So there's that. So it's that time of year. Weather's starting to suck. You must be twitching a little to go hunting.
Yeah. Luckily I've killed one deer so far. Otherwise, I'd be losing it.
Yeah.
Be having dreams and be twitching. It wouldn't be good. Since this is gonna air on Tuesday at 9, every Tuesday at 9. What is your score prediction? See if you're right.
I mean, I'll go. I think it'll be, because what I've seen from the UND defense too, it's a lot like the Viking defense. It's the whole bend don't break thing. I'm gonna go maybe a little more than 2 touchdowns. I'll say 31-14. So right in there. I think there'll be NDSU will kick a field goal in there to make it like 17-14, and then they'll score a couple of touchdowns, and I think they'll win going away, so to speak. But again, I don't think if they play the type of game we're describing, I would take that. Nobody wants moral victories or cares about them, but I do think that would be a good indication that you're on the right track. And then Coach Schmidt's just got to be able to hit the recruiting trail a little bit and, get more Jacobs into his program so that he can build it up some. But if I was NDSU, that's what I'd worry about. We have a coach that speaks the language. We have a coach that's coached in other places. We have a coach that is equal, if not greater, than on facilities. I mean, it's a real race now.
Yeah.
If you're a kid considering an FCS school and you've got NDSU and you've got UND, the only thing, and it's a big thing.
It's a big thing.
The only thing they have that UND doesn't is several national championships. Again, it's a big thing. I'm not taking that away from them at all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that if you take that out of the mix, and who does, I suppose.
Yep.
But if you take it out of the mix and you just walk around the UND campus.
I mean, those upgrades would have been nice when I was there, but that's okay. I'm not bitter about it.
It seems like you are a little bit.
Well, it looks pretty cool now.
Well, they got is it the state's largest weight room? And
yeah,
there's all kinds of
new weight room and new locker rooms and new treatment rooms and new nutrition room and they have a whole apartment building.
I was talking to
it's cool.
I was talking to a dietitian recently that works with the UND football team.
Yep.
And I believe they call them just nutritionists because dietitian has a negative connotation. But anyway, so. And you would know something about this, right? Yep. So, like linemen. Mm-hmm. So, Jacob, what'd you eat today? Right? Or you gotta take a picture of it. Or,
yeah, we had to have a small notebook. We'd write what we ate that day. You had to be within a 5 greater than or less than of your weight. You'd get weighed in 3 times a week. It was very serious.
Oh, there's no doubt. So she was telling me, she was like, so they actually make shakes.
Yep.
For the players.
Yep.
But she said the whole reason why we make the shake for them is because they have to have a conversation with us before we'll hand them the shake.
Yep.
Right? So she's like, so how's your diet going? And she's like, it's like herding toddlers. It's great. No, like what'd you eat today? Well, I had 22 eggs for breakfast and 9 pieces of toast and 3 slices of cantaloupe. Did I have my shake yet? Nope. What'd you have for lunch? Well, I had,
Yep.
And so they start. I just think it's interesting how the nutrition piece.
Yeah.
And it's changed a lot from what I understand.
We had a person come in and teach us about eating healthy and fueling our bodies, but we didn't have. That was all in the works as it is worked now. So.
Well, Jacob, I mean, listen.
It's cool.
It might be your grandchildren that will see this again at the University of North Dakota. All this redoing of facilities.
Yeah.
The absolute growth and density that has happened there. And, Mark Kennedy probably had some of the worst bedside manner in the history of the world. He's a former University of North Dakota president who I believe never really wanted to be here. And he rubbed people the wrong way. But he's the guy that said, you know what? We're going to grow this campus, and here's how we're going to do it. And this was very unpopular at the time. We're going to have to tear down old buildings, and we're going to have to make the university more dense.
Yeah.
You're nuts, Kennedy. Get the hell out of here. And he took a job as a president in Colorado and whatever. But he was right.
Oh, yeah.
He was damn right about all of it.
UND campus is...
It's gorge.
I always say it's really nice saying now that I am an adult now and I live here in the summertime, is you get to see how actually pretty the campus is.
Yeah.
All the tours are in the summer. It's gorgeous. They put a lot of great work into it. And
if you care about that kind of thing,
yeah, a campus
and the way it looks, and modern facilities and modern dorm rooms, and I mean, University of North Dakota, there's nothing like it in the state.
No,
nothing. It's not even close.
No.
So it's very nice. The Alaris Center isn't too shabby either.
No,
right?
It's as far as indoor football stadiums go, it's up there.
Wow. And you see some of these others on TV, and you're just like, and the Fargo Dome. I mean, it's like putting a dome over Cushman.
Yeah.
And I love Cushman, but Fargo Dome is ripe for some improvements.
It's pretty old.
Well, so we refereed football there.
Yep.
We did high school football there. So 9-man. We had the 9-man section championship like 2-3 years in a row. So when you do that, that was at the Fargo Dome. It was Minnesota in the Fargo Dome, which was always weird, but whatever. So when you go, because of the way they do it, they don't have the same officials because this is something that you've earned as an official. And they take you into a locker room. But it's not really a locker room. It's more like a dressing room. Yep. Now, most officials, when they do this, they come mostly dressed.
Yeah.
Like I'd have my reffing pants on, different shoes because I didn't want to get them all screwed up. And then like my undershirt on and then a coat over top. So really all I had to put on was my shirt. And I had to put all my crap on it, my bean bag and my hand thing and my pencil and all that. So you need a locker room. And the other thing is you got a place to store your crap, right?
Yep.
So we walk into this locker room that, again, looks like a dressing room. And I'll tell you what, it was like a throwback to the 70s.
Well, there's still like, you should see the visitors' locker room. There's not enough chairs, not enough benches. And I think, it's smart of them to make the visitors' locker room just terrible.
And a little uncomfortable.
We had people getting dressed on the cement, slippery cement. So you put your cleats on, you can't walk in there. I mean, they know what they're doing.
And that's fine. You can be a little uncomfortable, but there should be enough seating for you guys to get ready.
Yeah.
So, I think NDSU, again, I think they gets them. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm sitting here next week.
Horns down all the way.
Horns down all the way. I'll be cheering hard for our squad. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But I just think, last week they'll come out all fired up because they stubbed their toe. And whatever. But I just think at the end of the day, they're just right this second. They're just
this year.
They're just too good.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. But government shutdown. We want our neighbors to go back to work. The president said, fire the nuclear option in the Senate, which the Senate I think can just come over the top and just say we're funding it, move on.
Yeah, I don't know how does that work exactly.
Well, they got to vote on it. So my understanding is the nuclear option, there's some barriers and some parameters that you have to hit. In other words, you have to be out for a certain amount of time. I believe that's been checked. There's a clause that gets into what's that doing to the people that are employed and how much money are they losing. I think that's been checked. And so then they vote on it in the Senate, and they sort of leave the House out of it. So then the Senate says, let's go.
Yeah.
And then they go back to work, and then it's funded again by the government while they try to put together and figure out whatever their differences are. This time it's healthcare, and it's the same old crap.
I didn't even know it was shut down for the first 2 weeks, to be honest with you. So
we got to find some more and different news sources for you. If you're going to ride some you're not shotgun on the pod all the time, but if you're going to ride some shotgun some of the time, with shutdown, that's got to be a little embarrassing for you.
I really don't check the news very often, to be honest with you. Maybe I should be a little more in tune with my country and my society, but...
Where do you go for news? Shouldn't take this long.
Usually it takes me until I see something on social media, and then I'll go look at it, and I always like to go, look up Fox, I look up both sides, like at Fox, like CNN, the two extremes, and then I'll turn on just the local news and see.
Why do you think Fox is extreme?
I think they're, the Fox is the right side and CNN is the left side, and they both just seem to spend more time nowadays saying how the other side's worse instead of just saying the actual news of the country, in my opinion. And I don't like that. I probably lean one way more than the other, but I would just like to know, okay, is the world okay? Do I need to do anything? Is there anything I really should be, told about that's important right now? Okay, cool. We can have our differences, but we don't need to yell at each other.
Young Margaret, my daughter, who is not a whole lot younger than you are.
Yep.
She had the fortunate or unfortunate, I suppose, fortune of growing up in my house.
Yep.
And I was a talk show host for 22 years or whatever. And so she would see me sometimes prepping for shows, and I would always encourage you, Jacob, as I did my daughter or have my daughter, find a local news source you trust.
Yep.
KNOX Radio is a good one.
Yep.
And start and drill from the inside out. Now, you don't have to spend half your day doing it.
No.
But instead of, giggling at, bow hunting videos online, maybe take some of that time and just, hey, what's this news source have for today? And what's this news source have for today? Generally what happens for most, and it's always, because it almost happens this way for everybody.
Okay.
Let's say in, I don't know, a couple, 3 years, Jacob buys a house, wants to put his family in a house. You skimp and you save and you do and you blah, 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 and then all of a sudden you buy this house. While you're in that house, you and your wife decide to have a baby. Oh, now you're going to have a baby. So now you got a baby. Let's just say money's tight. You're extended a little bit. Maybe let's just say for the sake of this, the baby wasn't planned. Then all of a sudden, you go to your mailbox, you open your mail, and your property taxes go up 25%. So you go into the house, you look at the statement, you do a little quick math. After you swear a lot, you start to think, well, what can be done about this?
Yep.
And that's generally about the time most people get engaged.
Yeah.
And there's almost always a financial component to it.
Yep.
But on the way to that, I think you should know enough about what's happening in your town.
Yeah.
Enough about what's happening in the immediate world around you.
Yep.
Like you, Trump's a human starter pistol. So he's the president, so I pay attention to what he's doing. I lean to the right with most things, although as I'm getting older, I'm finding that socially I'm a little bit leaning more to the left. And if I'm being honest, the makeup of the people around here, a little bit younger than it used to be, is sort of influencing my opinion on some things. That's not to say I completely gone overboard. Let's not be ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I start to see things maybe through a slightly different lens than I used to. But I do think that research, I do think reading about both sides, I do think that asking good questions, I do think that not being afraid to approach your lawmakers when they're around to say, hey, what about this? Can be, it's because the world doesn't need any less leaders. It needs people to be engaged. It needs you to be educated. When you go to the polls again, it's better for all of us if you know what the hell you're doing. And if you vote that way, you don't owe anybody an explanation, but if asked, you could explain why.
Yeah.
Again, you don't owe anybody that, but just, well, I like this guy because he did this and he did this, and I got a grandmother that suffers with this. So I really like that.
Yep.
And I think this guy will do good things for people like my grandmother. So I voted for him. Oh, okay. Hey, hard to argue that, right?
Yep.
So that kind of thing is, I think, important, and something that I tried to teach Maggie was, if you're gonna, you gotta have some conviction. You gotta know why you're doing what you're doing. You just don't. She's got a great blue blazer on, so that's why I voted for her.
Yeah, I always try and, especially around voting season, I always okay, what are they actually talking that they're gonna do? And then I go, okay, what are they saying the other person's not doing? And then I go and look at what that person's saying they're not doing, and then I even my odds and I go vote based on my heart.
6, 7, 6.
Yeah, I'm not in part of that generation. I'm young, but my dad says I'm 40 in my soul. So.
Yeah, and there's some of that. Before I walked in here, I was speaking of reels, and I see more and more and more and more and more of this. There was a reel about high school in 1986. The big difference from what I see then to what I see now. And now again, I'm going to ask people that are consuming this content to apply some critical thought to what I'm about to say. It in no way means that today's kids aren't happy. It in no way means that today's kids aren't communicating. That's not what I'm trying to say. But the stark difference is people are completely present and they are completely engaged in their classmates and what they're saying and what they're doing and who they're talking to. That level of immersion into the presence present doesn't happen anymore.
No.
It just doesn't. We're habitually distracted. We don't know what's going on. I shouldn't say we don't. When you speak in generalities, everybody goes, well, no, that's not. Okay, that's not. I'm just saying that in 1980, and then the caption said, this was a simpler time. Yes, it absolutely was.
Yeah.
I graduated in 1991 from high school, so it was 5 years after that reel, and that's what I remember.
I feel like a lot of people today are in the if it doesn't personally affect me, I'm not going to care. The 0 F's given is a big thing nowadays. I'm realized that maybe we need to start giving more.
I think the hard part with that, Jacob, is it's tough. And it is. So I had the advantage of going to school and growing up, making all my mistakes. And unless you were there, you knew nothing about it.
Yeah.
If you go out tonight and you do something stupid and you're a big dude and you leave some dude in a corner somewhere in a pile,
yeah,
they're not going to try to break up your fight. You're going to look back and you're going to see 100 cell phones in the air wanting to record this fight.
Yep.
Then they're going to post it later.
Mm-hmm.
And now if I see it, right?
Yeah.
It's, hey, man, you okay? What's going on?
Yep.
He gets hurt. He gets hurt severely. Something else happens.
Yeah.
Besides the disappointment. And so we live our lives differently today. So I think what that implies, what you're describing is if I just keep my head down and do my own thing and we bump shoulders and you're like, hey, man, WTF? And I just keep walking.
Yeah.
Right? And nothing comes of it. We good.
Yep.
But where that falls apart is, some old person falls in the middle of the street and they can't get up.
Yep.
And we just keep on walking.
It's not my problem.
Not my problem. I didn't want to help them because if I would have helped them on the way up, they would have broke a hip.
Yeah.
And now they're going to blame me for breaking the hip. And then I'm going to end up in court because no good deed goes unpunished.
Yep.
So I just think I think that my generations and the ones before me would say, help the person anyway.
Yep.
But I think that this generation and the ones that are coming after it are more of the opinion of, I don't want to have to deal with any of that.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to deal with the headaches. I don't want to deal with the heartburn. I don't want you to come after me. I don't want any of it.
Yeah.
So I'm just not going to involve myself. And what I think is unfortunate is that along the way, you get labeled as somewhat of an unfriendly generation that is consumed only with themselves, that cares more about their devices than they do about the people around them.
Yeah, no, I see it. It's people my age. I'm just like maybe we should start going back to the old ways where we actually care. And the lack of community is something I've noticed a big time in the younger age of people. If you're not Snapchat buddies,
well, it's like if you ask some people in your generation, do you have friends? Well, you could grow up, right? And I remember when I grew up, my shithead buddies would just be in my house when I got home.
Yeah.
My mom would be like, so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so is downstairs. All right, Mom. And she'd be like, dinner's in a half hour. Ask them guys if they're staying.
Yeah.
Right? And then we go about our life.
Yep.
Right? And then I would have friends and they would be around. And so now that doesn't happen as much. That's not to say it doesn't happen. Again, please apply critical thought.
Yep.
But it happens less.
Yeah.
And it happens less frequently. And we don't value those interpersonal relationships and we don't value spending time together. We think that talking to somebody on Snapchat in the chat
is good enough.
It's not. And psychologists and psychiatrists are worried about it. We're rewiring our brains. There's not a lot of good that comes out of that smartphone. There's just not.
Nope.
We're fragmented and we're distracted and there's just not. And I think I shared with you a podcast ago or a couple podcasts ago about the thing I saw about the UND communications department walking around campus and that kind of thing when you're on that thing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Which just seems ridiculous. But the next time you're in a public setting, at the quarter break or at halftime tomorrow of a UND football game,
look around
and see how many people are talking to another person, how many people are scrolling through their Facebook page.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird age.
It is. And sense of community it's important. And every community has a moment of truth. And you hope that the community can rise to the occasion and doesn't look to a shutdown government to help them out.
Yeah.
That's why this stuff's important. We're supposed to take care of ourselves. We're supposed to take care of your neighbor. You're supposed to take care of the people that are around you. You're supposed to give a crap about other people that are walking the planet. You're not supposed to be zero F's given mentality.
Yeah.
You know, that's left for 4th and 1 on the goal line. You got one play to win the title. Now we got zero F's given. Now I'm just going through the 3 guys in front of me and follow me into the end zone type. That's where that comes into play. It shouldn't be when you're just walking around the sideline or you're walking around the sidelines of life and somebody needs a help them out. It's the Jarrod Thomas podcast for this week. I'm working on guests. I promise you. It's been a little weird getting a hold of guests, but I'll keep working on it. And if not, well, it doesn't mean that, Jacob, every episode, you should prepare a question for us.
Okay.
And if there's a guest here, you prepare it for us. We'll call it a new feature.
New feature.
How about that?
Just thoughts with JT.
So my kid watches every single one of these. And I went home for lunch today, and she's like, really, Dad? Thoughts with JT? So you know what I told her? I said, why don't you come out today? I'm going to record a podcast after lunch today. Why don't you come out? She's like, whoa. I said, she's home to go to the end. She goes to NDSU. Yep. I know, piss poor parenting. She goes to NDSU. She'll graduate in December. So she's home for the big game, big game tomorrow. And so I said, why don't you come out? She said, I said, no, I think people get a kick out of it. Why don't you come on out? Okay, Maggie. So she was all tough until I said, why don't you come out and stick a microphone in front of your face, and it'll be a big yabba dabba do. She'd be intimidated by all. She would hate it. Yeah. She would not.
Too much production value for
her? She's been around this stuff her whole life, right? And so she and my wife, I always call them truth serum, and they're not allowed on the air because they will tell you where all the bones are buried, and they'll tell you exactly what's the truth and what's not. They wouldn't, they're behind the curtain. They know what really happens. And so she's like, you don't want me to come out there and just spill all the beans, do you? I said, I'm not scared of you. Come on. So she obviously isn't here. She had some homework to do, crime and something class. Convenient child, convenient. But as she gets closer to her graduation, I'm gonna get her to come out here. She will for her dad one
Maybe
time.
A Christmas special.
Aww,
little father-daughter moment.
You know what? You think maybe I can get her to sit on my knee and I'll read The Night Before Christmas to her with a Santa hat on?
Yep. We'll get some sleigh bells and
you can just sit over there and shing, 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 shing. I like where this is headed.
This is going to go.
That's what's next. You and me in costume doing this damn podcast. I tell you what, Jacob, we're going to grow this thing one way or another. And if it means you and I got to wear costumes, that's what we're going to do. I know a guy's got a budget for that. Thanks, Jacob.
Thank you, JT.